What am I talking about when I say the freedom of the mind? I do appreciate that we struggle with cognitive dissonance. All of us, all our lives. I understand that, particularly as abantu abamnyama. Kunzima ngoba sesiphoqwe okuningi kakhulu, and ingqondo zethu sekudlalwe ngazo kakhulu, so much so that we can't even tell the truth from lies anymore. But what I want to come with today is to say freedom of the mind is being able to refuse to let go of your mind, is being able to say, akunamuntu ozothatha ingqondo yami, ndizayisebenzisa ingqondo yami kuba yingqondo yami. And so freedom of the mind says that we should be able to think and dissect facts, dissect information, think the thoughts and challenge izinto esizifundisiwe. And not just consume everything because it's brought to us. We need to be thinking and saying, lento le irighti noma irongo. Freedom of the mind says, I can think my own thoughts without seeking validation. Freedom of the mind says, I can, when umntwana kumntwana wami, akunamuntu one-right ukungitshela ukuthi lo mntana lona ngimkhulise kanjani. I-freedom of the mind says, akunamuntu ozothi mangidiscipline ingane, omunye umuntu uzongitshela ukuthi hayi ngizoya amaphoyisa azongibopha because I'm disciplining my child. Yimi engilethe lengane emhlabeni. Yimi responsible for lengane emhlabeni. Sithi ke manje izinto zimosheka sithi but kuthiwe, but you are the one who's responsible for the child. You are the one who's struggling with this child. You are the one who's taking care of this child. You are the one who spends time and effort on the upbringing of this child. You are the one obakhona when this child falls ill. That's the freedom of the mind when you say, I will be responsible and I will take accountability and it's okay. Freedom of the mind says, just because everybody does it, just because everybody just because everybody does it does not make it right. Freedom of the mind says you are able to think for yourself. You are able to think and do things that make sense to you. Not because you are looking up to somebody mhlambe on authority or somebody ozokutshela ukuthi yebo noma cha. Freedom of the mind says you are able to make your own decisions. Freedom of the mind says when something has not worked for 20 years, for 30 years, you are able to change it and come with solutions that will affect your today. Freedom of the mind says, you know what? I'm enough. It is my mind and I can use it. Whichever way makes sense to me, whichever way will bring progress to me. I did say that I appreciate that we suffer and struggle with cognitive dissonance every day, but we should not lose our minds. Freedom of the mind says, it is my mind, I'm accountable and I'm responsible for it. It is mine to use it for me. Freedom of the mind says, I will not wait for somebody to tell me what to do. I will not let somebody else to tell me what to do when I know what it is to my detriment. I will not allow that. Freedom of the mind says no to injustice. Freedom of the mind says freedom of the mind.